Good day. A penalty of 500,000 Jamaican dollars or $500,000 is being proposed for any teacher in our schools who fails to renew his or her license. Please remember to like this video on YouTube, and we welcome your comments. I hope that Parliament comes to its senses and the fine is reduced. My own view is that the penalty should be no pay until the license is renewed. Worse, the proposal is to include teachers in all private schools, including the extra lessons industry. More licenses mean that all teachers have to be trained. A requirement of all teachers being trained is at least some sort of entrance requirement of passes of so many subjects and so on. Do we have that many persons who teach successfully, who can pass all of these tests? In a nation where corruption is high, all sorts of questions come to mind. This means more textbooks and textbook sales for someone. This means more food in canteens and canteen sales as more would-be teachers go to teachers' college. This means more graduations and sales of graduation gowns and rings. Is this the real reason? Why then are there tutorials at universities where the students explain to other students what they did not understand from the lectures? If we need trained teachers, why are there tutorials at the university? If only trained people can teach, then why are they going out to tutorials? By all means, insist on the renewal of licenses for teachers in government schools, but we do not have enough teachers qualified through the system to go around. We should use what we have. 50 years ago in 1972, I was employed to Social Development Commission. I was first employed in the adult literacy section of SDC, which became the National Literacy Program. Later that year, before it morphed into the Jamaican Movement for the Advancement of Literacy Limited, or JAMAL. The Prime Minister called for 20,000 volunteers to teach the literacy classes because he knew that there were not so many trained teachers. Anyone could volunteer. At that time, Mr. Michael Manley was Prime Minister. While there were some amusing episodes where some of the volunteers were illiterate themselves, the program overall was a success and rated third only to Cuba and Brazil in its effectiveness in curbing illiteracy. I had been seconded to the National Literacy Program, but asked to be recalled to SDC in December 1972. 49 years ago, in January 1973, I was transferred to the Youth Development Agency of SDC and assigned to the Loidersville Youth Camp in St. Catherine as a teacher. The youngsters were out there to learn trades, but I was there to teach grammar subjects. I was not a trained teacher at all. In fact, all I had were 3 ordinary level subjects at GCE, and I was to prepare them for JSC subjects in civics and history. There was a trained teacher out of Church's Teachers College who prepared students in mathematics in JSC. Only one person passed mathematics out of a class of 20-something students. There was a trained teacher who was to prepare them in English out of Micro Teachers College. 4 students passed English out of a class of 20-something students. There was a trained teacher again out of Micro to prepare them in health science. 8 students passed out of a class of 20-something. There was a teacher to prepare them for agricultural science who had been a policeman but had been trained in agricultural science at Kenilworth Youth Camp in Hanover. Again, 20-something students. There were no passes. I was the only untrained teacher, but with a Jamaica College education up to 5th form. Yet 17 students passed civics and 15 passed history, both out of a class of 20-something. Not to boast, but only to make a point. I understand that in Trinidad, they use many 5th and 6th formers as teachers in high schools. So why are we in Jamaica doing this? How can this benefit the students in the long run? Is it to create standards or to keep the textbook industry going, as teachers will not be licensed without training? Are all of these proposed laws connected to promises of election campaign funds if certain industries, such as the textbook industry, are enhanced, and perhaps the food in the canteen and so on? Trust me, whether so or not, it is not far-fetched. Not only textbooks, but the canteens will sell more food, and the large food processing companies will benefit. After all, might not that be the real reasons why schools reopened when the COVID pandemic is still a real threat? Then there will be more graduations where gowns and rings will be sold. Are these the real reasons why such a hefty fine is being proposed for teachers who do not renew their licenses? I do not think it is far-fetched. I am not trying to diss higher education. This is a higher education institution right here. I am only making the point that we should use what we have as other nations do. I wish I could find the letter written by one of my students 49 years ago, thanking me, who happened to be an untrained teacher, for helping him to have 2 subjects at JSC. If an elected parliamentarian has not taken the oath of office, he or she cannot vote in Parliament and will not be paid until the oath is taken. But for teachers who do not renew their licenses, it is being proposed that the fine be $500,000 or $1 million. I believe the fine should be the same as MPs who are not sworn in. Do not pay teachers if their licenses are not renewed. Have a good day.